you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of the College of the Dead graphic novel right now on Indiegogo, and also 30-year veteran of publishing comic books and former board member of the public company Platinum Studios. I have a little background in entertainment business, and I have a background in comic books, and I'm looking at the dealings between Disney and Sony right now, and I find it fascinating, and I'm going to tell you why. Firstly, there was a conversation and media put out yesterday about how Disney is not going to continue its relationship with Sony with respect to Kevin Feige being producer on their films and integrating Spider-Man into the Marvel universe. And, what's going on is they are negotiating. So Disney will say it's over. Well, it's just, a producer credit. Not a producer credit. It's over complete control of Spider-Man and what could also be a major threat to social justice warrior version of Marvel's take on superheroes. So an interesting tweet this morning from Data Racer 117. And I first found out about him from Ethan Van Sciver's great channel, Comic Artist Pro Secrets. Wealth of information. You should be subscribed to that YouTube channel for sure. So Data Racer 117 tweets here, now hashtag save Spider-Man from Sony is trending, and the Sony attack tweets are getting 5,000 to 20,000 likes in the last 3 to 6 hours. That's a lot of likes. That's a lot of help from somebody. Data Racer here is saying Disney's pulling ops to place social media pressure on Sony to fold. Walt Disney would fire crooked Bob Iger on the spot if he was still around today. Now, I don't know about that with Walt Disney. I don't know about Bob Iger, but it's very interesting to see what Data Race is saying here because you know what? Obviously, somebody's placing extra pressure on Sony. Now, when he's talking about fold, what are they talking about? Well, the deal that Disney wants to have is they want control over Spider-Man. Disney is saying, well, we want to be a 50-50. This is what they're negotiating for. It's not about a producer credit, although producer credit is extremely valuable. There's a lot of money involved, but it's not just that. It's about Disney wanting to control what Spider-Man films are and what they look like. They need to know that when you're doing Spider-Man, that you're doing the version of Spider-Man that Disney wants. Now, understand, Disney introduced Captain Marvel, which was this very unusual social justice warrior character that really came out of nowhere, nobody cared about, and was weaved weirdly into the Avengers. A lot of the hardcore Marvel fans did not like Captain America. Did not like Captain Marvel. And we also have problems with Chris Evans as Captain America, the way he's been coming off lately. But there's a lot more than just Spider-Man here. There's also Venom. Venom is something that's also controlled by Sony. And Disney is implying they'd like to be involved in Venom. And they'd like to also be involved in anything with Gwenpool. And they'd like to be involved in Morbius the Living Vampire. These are all part Morbius, Gwenpool, not Gwenpool, Gwen. What the heck is that character? It's part of the whole expanded Spider-Man universe. There's 100 versions of Spider-Man. And Disney wants to be in control of all of it. This is Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider-Gwen. It goes on and on and on with Spider-Man because Spider-Man is like the quintessential new cool superhero that was invented in the 1960s, but somehow Spider-Man never gets old. So Disney wants to make sure that when you define what a superhero movie is, it's controlled by Disney. So Disney is asking to be a 50-50 financing partner, and they also want to be a creative partner. And absolutely, Disney has made some great films in the past. But let's face it, if Disney says if you're a 50-50 financial partner and you're a 50-50 creative partner and Kevin Feige is coming on as producer, Sony is not going to have a say over the movies. and over how they're made. They're going to have some minor say. But if Disney says, listen, we need to make Spider-Man into a trans dinosaur, and God bless him, there's nothing wrong with that if you want to be a trans dinosaur, but all the decisions are going to be made by Disney, and that's what Disney is fighting for here. That's what they're trying to pressure Sony with, and very, very interestingly, Data Racer is doing this social media analysis and finding out for us that, hey, yeah, you should definitely follow him on Twitter. And there's a lot more that he's got on Twitter on Disney's recent $6 billion fraud they're being accused of by a whistleblower. Definitely follow him on Twitter. In any case, I'm also publishing a comic book I mentioned earlier, College of the Dead. It's 140 pages. It's black and white. You can find it on Indiegogo, and also it'll redirect you from collegeofthedead.com. And it's 140 pages. It's completely done. It's an awesome zombie apocalypse graphic novel story, and it takes place on a college campus with professors and students fighting the dead that are coming after them. And you will love it. It's really, really well done. You can get the graphic novel. You can also get the Ashcan, which is an additional 100-page book, which tells you how we made the book. It's a great making of book. It's got the full script as well as layouts of all the pages before we had the artist finish the work. So go ahead and check it out. It's on Indiegogo. And we'll all watch what happens with this story with Spider-Man and Disney. I have a feeling Sony is not going to give it up. I have a feeling this is not the first time that Marvel has gone after Sony and said, listen, we need to control Spider-Man, and that's just the way it is. And Sony has stood their ground and said no. And there's a lot at stake here. It's not just Spider-Man, even though that would be big enough. It's Venom. It's Spider-Gwen. It's Moribus. It's other properties I can't even think of. And other characters potentially that could be spun out of the Spider-Man universe. So we're going to have to watch this carefully. It could be the future of superheroes happening right now in real time.